what's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the UFL 32 Team Builder franchise here on Madden 25, where we take control of the Dayton Triangles. But we are a little bit down bad here in season number 3. After a solid first couple of seasons, we're actually going in the wrong direction. We are 2-6, and we find ourselves here on Thursday Night Football taking on the the Salt Lake City Condors, who are also in a tough spot. As you can see, Salt Lake City is in the bottom of their division, but they're tied with Vegas at least. We're not even tied at the bottom. We are at the bottom all by ourselves, man. So interesting game here for both teams as we try to build a little bit of momentum now that we are embarking on the second half of the season. Here's to hoping that we can go ahead and turn things around here. Very excited to see Salt Lake City Stadium for the first time, as I don't think we've played Salt Lake City yet in this series. So very excited to see, their uniforms in action as well as their stadium. And hey, let's see if we can come out here and also get a win as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this entire video, man. And if you're excited as I am, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. But before we jump into the gameplay, we got some players that need some upgrades, so let's jump into that first. Alright, so we get to a point where we're ready to get some upgrades going, and we actually are looking at mostly players on the defensive side of the ball getting some upgrades, which I'm not fully surprised about because our defense low-key has been playing a little bit better the last couple of games than our offense has been playing, but that's a different conversation for another time. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get these guys some upgrades real quick before we jump onto the field. And it starts with Denario Allen. Denario Allen is our fifth-year player out of Iowa. And Denario Allen, we are going to go ahead. We're going to give him the zone coverage upgrade. Continue to be that scheme fit for us. And he actually jumps up to an 84 overall after we did that. He gets a +3 in tackling, as well as a +2 in play recognition, which is huge because that's going to help ensure that we don't bite on as many of the play actions. Now, Greg Sharp is another player that I certainly want to develop as well. He's been starting on our defensive line, even though he doesn't have the best overall because he is a younger player. So Greg Sharp actually is going to, we're going to work on his speed rushing here as well. And Greg Sharp is actually developing into a nice starter for us. He has a +2 to finesse moves after that particular upgrade. And Greg Sharp is turning into at least a decent draft pick for us. Not a home run pick, but at least someone that we are developing into an actual starter, which you can't complain about in these UFL drafts. Up next, we have the second-round rookie that we brought in this past offseason, and that's Heath Whitehead. Now, Heath Whitehead hasn't had too many opportunities this season, but when he has a chance to touch the ball, he actually has found the end zone a couple of times. Unfortunately, he is dealing with a PCL sprain, so we won't see him in this particular game. But in spite of that, and because he is a rookie, he's getting his XP in that kind of fashion. We'll work on his receiving back, and he jumps up to a 72 overall, actually. In particular, gets a +2 to short route running, so making that push to be our backup running back once he comes back from injury. And then the last player that we have to provide an upgrade to is Johnny Sullivan. Now, Johnny Sullivan is a backup outside linebacker now, and he's not even a scheme fit for us either, so I really want to develop his pass coverage ability. I think it's important for my outside linebackers to be able to cover on their own, at least in a zone. So we'll do pass coverage here, and he jumps up to a 70 overall, so he does become usable in certain packages. In particular, he gets the +3 in the zone coverage, and the rookie from Oklahoma, even though he doesn't have the same pedigree as J.J. Peters, who we drafted in the first round, Johnny Sullivan is, in his own right, turning into a solid player. And here's the thing, he's only 21 years old as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get some primetime UFL action officially underway. And we'll get things started here. We did defer to the second half, so Salt Lake City, the Condors, are going to start with the football as they're going to start with a run over to the right-hand side. They will end up being met eventually, initially, by Peter Townsend and get some help from the rest of that Triangles defense. As now, 3rd and short coming up as we have a chance to force a 3 and out early. Throwing to the right-hand side, though. And we just played a little bit too soft coverage there and is able to find his receiver, Boyd, for the first down. As that will move the chains for Salt Lake City as they'll go back to the ground game. No, it's a play action. Looking over to the right-hand side. And somehow his running back does not corral it in. It's a perfectly good throw. Just his running back didn't look like he had those silky soft hands out of the backfield. But we are going to get to this quarterback later on as that was put on the ground. Doherty, man. Doherty is very fortunate that his boys picked up on it. So here we are, 3rd and 26 as we have a chance to come out here and, get him off the field here. Should be pretty straightforward. But with that being said, we can't get the sack. And we're not going to get the stop either. That is crazy work. 3rd and 26, and you give up that? Oh my goodness, we cannot be serious. Doug Boyd's going to get the Salt Lake City Condors up on the board, man. That's wild. So with that being said, we don't do ourselves any favors after that as we end up going 3 and out on our first possession. Not to mention that Mike Doherty is going to find his receiver just on a random slant pattern and just generally gives up way too many yards for my comfort. And so Salt Lake City putting together another drive as Cameron Spencer almost ended it. Oh my goodness, that is one of the better quarterbacks in the UFL. When you get an opportunity like that, you got to take advantage because he will not provide many of those chances very often, but he will at least make up for it by getting after his quarterback, getting a sack on a 3rd and 6. And even though their ball is spotted at about the 40-yard line, they're still going to attempt this field goal, a 55-yard field goal attempt. We'll see if this kicker has the leg for it. Kick is up, but it's no good. It is just barely going to miss to the left, and the Dayton defense is going to hold for right now. So, with that being said, with 5 minutes left here in the first quarter, as we'll go ahead and try to get our offense going here, as Collar is going to drop back to pass, looking to scramble to the right-hand side, and eventually finds DeAndre Bazier, who hangs on and makes the catch, already his 2nd catch of the day. But then, a couple of plays later, we try to sell a little bit of play action. We do end up facing some pressure, though. And so we just kind of had to throw that one in the dirt. The answer was not obvious there. And so it's going to be 3rd and 11 in Salt Lake City territory. As Collar in the shotgun. Looks like a 4-wide set. One tight end out there. He does see that he had Grayson Heidick open, but he overthrows his receiver. That could have been a big play, but that was also a missed opportunity for us as well. So with that being said, we end up punting the ball away, but it wasn't even a very good punt at all. So that's why Salt Lake City is going to start things out at about the 35-yard line. So with that being said, defense needs to come through and get us another stand real quick. 3rd and short. Going to try to run it up the gut, and we ran our own linebacker out of position. We got a little bit too caught up in the eye candy. I guess that's my best excuse for you. Other than that, I mean, we did bad. We did really bad on that run contain there. Yeah, I mean, the game taking advantage of my user. Definitely not surprised by that, as we're not the most defensively gifted in this game, and they're going to continue to do that. Denorio Allen was there to at least slow Brian Joseph down, but it's definitely an easy first down for the Condors. As right before the end of the first quarter, though, they go with a toss play to the right-hand side, and that's some better containment. That's J.J. Peters, the first-round rookie out of USF, able to bring him down. But with that being said, and the first quarter, we're down by 7, but the way that we've been playing, though, it feels like a lot more. So that being said, welcome back to Salt Lake City as the Condors are trying to put together another scoring drive. Coming out of it here on the 2nd and 14 as Doherty is going to drop back and will not find anybody as that is another sack. This time it's Jared Sullivan. The rookie out of Oklahoma has been overshadowed by the custom J.J. Peters, but Sullivan in his own right is turning into his own as well. Could be a starter for us on this team someday, but instead, for right now, he's going to be a good rotational piece, able to get a few snaps a game, but we will force Salt Lake to accept a field goal as that sack did at least slow him down some. So, with that being said, we're down 10-0 as we saw that they were definitely blitzing there, and so we ended up trying to throw it short. Ends up being incomplete, though. As now, 2nd and 10 coming up. Collar dropping back to pass, looks over the middle of the field, does find Will Hunter. Wide but naked open, at least underneath. It makes this a much more manageable 3rd and short, and I love the look that they're giving us because usually they back out of this look, and sure enough it is. Terrell Sharpen gonna be able to run right through the middle, right where those linebackers backed out, and that is gonna get us just about in Salt Lake territory. Probably need a few more yards to officially make that happen, which we'll end up getting right here, right now. So that will get us into Salt Lake territory for the first time today. We'll see if we can make the most of it this time around, as we'll go ahead and run it down the middle with Terrell Sharpen after we lost a few yards on the last play, and get us a much more manageable 3rd down situation. Again, just needs 6 yards as Terrell Sharpen is shaken up, and that's big because we are also missing on Heath Whitehead, our 2nd round rookie. He's not playing either. So that leaves us with 1 available running back. So it might be more empty sets like you see here as we'll try to go on a 3rd and 6. Collar gonna drop back to pass and looks over to the left-hand side. Goes for Joe Spears, but Joe Spears couldn't make a man miss in the open field. And so not only do we not pick up the 1st down, but we also lost a yard, I'm pretty sure. So we'll go for the field goal attempt here. This is gonna be from about 55 yards. We'll see if our guy has what it takes to make the kick. Didn't get everything under it, and Felipe Nichols is going to leave this short. The 34-year-old from Findlay cannot believe that he left that one short. It was certainly online, though. And so a chance for us to get on the board here, but it's not going to work out, though, as we will end up seeing ourselves continue to have the goose egg out on the scoreboard, as Salt Lake City will take over at about the 45-yard line. But after that forced incompletion courtesy of Peter Townsend, our cornerback 1, we have a chance to at least get him off the field here yet again. This has been a good one if we can make it happen. Throwing over to the right-hand side, though, and simply put, Nick Cotton just could not keep up with the tight end, and the tight end's able to get a massive chunk of yards because of that. And so, with that being said, Salt Lake City is once again threatening, and they're going to be threatening even deeper as this tailback nearly finds the end zone. This one was Darnell Linton, I believe is his name. That's his 1st carry of the day. Makes the most of it, though. And then Doherty is going to find his receiver in the end zone. It's another touchdown for Salt Lake City. And boys, your day in triangles are not looking good. We are down 17-0 here, and that's not even the worst part. We just went 3 and out as well. So Salt Lake City definitely has a chance to really put the hurting on us right now. But Irons is going to drop that particular pass. That would have been a 1st down if he's able to hang on to it. Probably was bracing for that big hit. Instead, it's going to be 3rd and 8, and it's going to find a wide but naked open receiver. That is Cooper yet again. He had the touchdown on the last drive. Is able to get that critical 3rd down catch this time around. As how is that not intercepted, bro? Oh my goodness, Ty Moody was all over it. How is that completed? Let alone me not being able to pick that off. That's crazy work. And then Hitchens, he just starts to give up on the play. It just assumed that pass was going to sail out of bounds or something. So not only are we sucking right now, but we have certain players on the field just not even giving a full effort, which is, you know, alarming. Very alarming to see, you know, considering that we're coming in here, we're already 2-6. It feels like a must win, and yet playing a team that is perceived as similar of our own, we are getting it handed to us thoroughly, as Brian Joseph will finish that drive as well. We're down 24-0, so if we want to make this even a respectable game, let alone try to come back and win this thing, we got to score in this drive. It has to happen. So let's see if our boys can respond as we throw to right inside. We had him open. But Andrew Collar just waited a little too long there. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and 10, where Collar drops back yet again. Does find Grayson Heineck this time around, and is able to move the sticks for yet another first down. As now, here we go with 2 timeouts left. Collar drops back, looks over the middle of the field, and Leon Thomas able to hang on to that one as well. But we will end up using a timeout there. So now, only 1 timeout left, but 59 seconds left. Collar looks over to right inside, wanted Leon Thomas deep downfield, but that ends up being in triple coverage. Collar just putting a little too much faith in his receiver. And now here we are with a 3rd and 5. Collar with the play action and gets sacked right away. Oh my goodness, we get dropped right in that moment. We end up having to punt the football away. And now with 41 seconds left, Salt Lake City could potentially double dip. Here we go, Doherty on a 1st and 10 to start the drive, and trying to get it out to Cooper, but Cooper's not able to bring it in. So that ends up being dropped, thankfully, as now we'll see a 2nd and 10 where they go with a slant pattern, and Peter Townsend was expecting a deeper route, when in reality it was the slants. Salt Lake City will use a timeout. They still have 1 timeout remaining as Doherty throws to the left-hand side. He won a big throw down the sideline. Dron Strong had decent coverage, but that was more Doherty sailing that one versus actually disrupting the pass attempt. This one, on the other hand, has a chance to be intercepted as Peter Townsend does get his hands on it, but cannot haul it in. It's now 3rd and 10. Big 3rd down here because I don't want Salt Lake City to get any more points than what they already have. As Doherty lines up in the shotgun. 4 wide set. Dropping over to right inside. And it's caught, but only for a short completion, though. We will at least force them to punt this football away, but it has been an egregiously bad first half for your Dayton Triangles, as here we are on the road, down big against Salt Lake City. So we'll go ahead, we're going to have to figure some things out here at the half, but first, we are going to take a look at some of the other games that are slated to happen later this week, because we are the first game to be happening. Pittsburgh is going to take on the Albany Imperials. That could be an interesting game with playoff implications. Columbus is playing Memphis, and then we have a bunch of other matchups happening around the league as well. But now we'll go ahead and switch back over to our matchup, though, as we try to play much better here in the second half of action. And those types of plays were what we were missing in the first half. Just felt like we really did not do a good job at all of establishing the run. And that's not a recipe for success at all. So hopefully that puts a little bit less pressure on this younger receiving core moving forward. We'll see if we can get another big run here. And sure enough, Joe Spears is able to find the crease. He's going to be able to get across the 35-yard line. For the first time today, the Dayton Triangles are cooking. But can they finish with points on the board? As Terrell Sharpen, he's got a one-on-one. He can't make the safety miss in the open field. But now we actually have a running game. Imagine that. And it's making everything easier for us to move the ball. Imagine that. Being well balanced. Very classy, very demure. What's not very demure, though, is that we just got a penalty called on us. And that's our franchise left tackle, Eric Carey, responsible for protecting the blind side. So now it's 3rd and 18. Not a great spot to be in. But we'll throw it up for Leon Thomas, who comes down with it but can't turn upfield. So, but does at least make this fourth down decision a whole lot more interesting instead of trying to just settle for a field goal and call it a day. Now we're going to go for it here on a 4th and 2 as we're going to go ahead and try to throw for it. Thought we had a man open, but just didn't have the time to do so. And so, unfortunately, we turned the ball over on downs yet again. Multiple opportunities for us to come out here, get points on the board, and we just haven't done it yet. Should, bare minimum, it should be 24-10, and it's not 24-10. It's still 24-0. And like we mentioned, if things get much worse, then we might consider putting our backups in because we are getting worked pretty thoroughly in this game thus far. As now, 3rd and 9 coming up. Daugherty looking over the middle, but Denario Allen makes the best play that I've seen from the Dayton Triangles today. A huge interception. Able to intercept Daugherty. And the Dayton Triangles are going to be set up beautifully inside the 40-yard line. And even though we didn't score on the last possession, we were at least able to find much more rhythm in our game, in our offensive attack. So maybe we can build upon that moving forward as Terrell Sharpen does an incredible job of showing patience to get those 6 yards. That last block was held just a little bit longer. He's taking that to the crib, but a much more manageable 2nd down, and we'll head it back to Terrell Sharpen. This time we will not see a holding penalty for Terrell's runs. Sharpton running a lot better here in the second half, as you see those stats right there. 12 carries for 73 yards, but we will throw it here to Leon Thomas. I want to get him connected on the slants, but that is going to be incomplete. Probably should have let the play develop a little bit more, but instead it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 7, and I don't know how that snuck through, but Will Hunter is going to be able to connect into the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton! And the shutout is no longer happening, baby. Let's go, man. As now we'll go for the 2-point conversion so that we can make this a 2-possession game. They send the blitz, but we'll throw it well to DeAndre Bossier. Throw it to where only his guy can make a play. And he gets it done, hauls it in as a 2nd-round player from Wake Forest. Makes it a 24-8 game. So, starting to show a little bit of signs of life here in this 3rd quarter of action. But now it comes down to, can our defense continue to get stops? They've been able to play pretty well so far here in the 3rd quarter of action, as Daugherty is going to drop back to pass. Playing a little bit too soft of coverage there, though, as that will be a 1st down for the Condors. But an injury timeout will temporarily stop the clock. However, a few plays later, though, 3rd and 8, as they're going to go ahead and throw over the middle. But J.J. Peters is there before they can get anything going upfield. And so the Condors are going to punt this football away. Plus, we are playing a little bit better in general, but still facing quite the deficit. Down by 16 with 1 quarter to play. Can we pull a dramatic comeback in our hands? So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and take over at about the 22-yard line as Collar gets settled in for a new drive. Collar dropping back the pass and throws over to right-hand side and connects with the star tight end, Grayson Heidick, who had the one-on-one coverage. So, we're going to trust him every single time. And that's going to be a great way to start this drive out. 15-yard gain. And that is not even going to be our biggest gain of the drive, as Leon Thomas is able to get open down the middle of the field. And that should go, I want to say that was a 30-yard play. The explosive plays are starting to show up for the Dayton Triangles. And now we got to continue to keep the momentum going. Throwing over the middle to an open DeAndre Bossier, who doesn't have nearly as much running room. So that will be 3rd and 7. As Collar gets set up in a 5-wide set. Looks like they are in zone coverage. And does see that they're open over on the right-hand side. Leon Thomas inside the 10-yard line. 1st down for the Dayton Triangles, as Leon Thomas is closing in on 700 yards on this season. It's been a solid year for Leon Thomas. Getting used to being that wide receiver 1, but not having the having more attention than what he normally would have However, second and goal from the 17 after the penalty. Leon Thomas is going to catch another one. And now we can say Leon Thomas has 700 yards on the year. And also his 5th reception touchdown of the season. As the Dayton Triangles are going to score yet again. And if they find the end zone on this 2-point conversion, all of a sudden, it's a 1-possession game. Collar hands it off to Terrell Sharpen, who finds the end zone. And the 2-point conversion will indeed be successful. So that's just going to make it a 1-possession game now with 6.5 left to play. Let's see if we can get one more stop here so we can put ourselves in a spot to tie this game up. As they're going to go ahead and run into the right-hand side as J.J. Peters had the opportunity to make a play but cannot quite bring him down. Just completely whiffs on him. So now Salt Lake City, the Condors, putting something together here as Daugherty going with the play action. Throwing to the left-hand side is Jared Strong, as well as looks like possibly, oh my goodness, Nick Cotton, I think, was also there to make a play. 3rd and 1 coming up as Salt Lake City drops back. And it's going to be a first down for the Condors. Now firmly in Dayton territory. And borderline in the field goal range as well for like the Salt Lake City kicker. But that will not be necessary though, as we give up a wide but naked open touchdown. As Doug Boyd able to find the open seam. So once again, we find ourselves down by multiple possessions. So starting to run out of time here. That touchdown was a backbreaker, but so will the throw to DeAndre Bazier, trying to get it out to him in front of the safety Adonis Starks. However, he ended up overthrowing him. And Stark is someone that is going to make this a lot more difficult, because while we do force the 3 and out, Salt Lake City was able to break quite a bit of time off the clock. So gotta rush to the to score quickly as possible. And I don't know if that's going to really help us out at this point. A 7-yard gain, it's going to be a tough one to be able to justify. But we'll go no huddle quickly here, set up some kind of screen, because I know they're trying not to get beat deep. And sure enough, Joe Spears able to get him set up with the halfback screen, able to bounce it out of bounds and save some time off the clock. Very next play, with 1:14 left in the ball game, Collar has a clean pocket to work through and has no choice but to dump it off to Grayson Heidick, who is at least successful in getting out of bounds. So now only 1:08 remaining here in this ball game as Grayson Heidick picks up the first down and trying to get something going here quickly as Collar again drops back, looks over the middle. We did have to use a timeout on the last play, by the way, because there was an injury issue, and that it was Joe Spears. Luckily, we can remain in the game, because otherwise we would genuinely be out of running backs completely, which isn't the worst thing in the world because we are throwing it, but that would mean that we essentially have 0 running game whatsoever. And so we're trying to set up another screen here, this time for Terrell Sharpton, who was having an injury issue himself, but we will find Grayson Heidick in the seam and able to pick up the first down. But we're trying to move quickly here because I want to save that one timeout unless I really, truly needed it. And oh, Grayson Heidick needed to bring that in for me. I needed that so badly, but instead, it's going to be 2nd and 10 here as they'll throw over to the left-hand side, and Leon Thomas does bring it in. So we at least make it a 1-possession game. But with that being said, unless we get this onside kick, we're going to absolutely be cooked here. And the onside kick does end up being recovered by the Salt Lake City Condors. We just didn't put enough on it. Wouldn't have even mattered because it would have been an illegal touching penalty on Cameron Means. But this one is over. And while it was a spirited comeback, we just played absolutely awful in that first half. And we just didn't set ourselves up for success at all. We'll drop another game on Thursday Night Football. Alright, man, so a difficult game for us once again, as it was just too little too late for us once more, right? Like, we played awful in that first half, giving up 24 unanswered in the first half. We did what we could in the second half to try to dig ourselves out of it, but I mean, we just got to play a lot better in the first half. We can't afford to go into these big deficits and expect to come back. This is not college football. This is the professionals. Many professional teams don't give up 20+ point leads. It's just that plain and simple. Now, Andrew Collar did have a decent game today. He did have 22 for 35 passing, did have 3 touchdowns. All of those were in the second half, like I said. We also threw for 257 yards with the interception, but again, this was all in the second half because in the first half, we didn't really do anything. The ground game was at least solid. We can at least say that, though, as Terrell Sharpen averaged almost 5 yards a carry on 15 carries. Joe Spears actually did not look that great in this one, as Joe Spears ended up with 5 carries and 13 yards in the ball game, so not what you would want to see. As for the receivers, Leon Thomas, he had a big day today. 7 catches, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a big day today. Probably wish that we would have gotten to him like a little bit sooner. Grayson Heineck was good. He had 6 catches for 74 yards. Will Hunter found the end zone as well. And then DeAndre Bazier did have a solid performance with another 5 catches and 42 yards today. But the defense definitely took a step back, unfortunately. I mean, this was rough to see for our defense. One silver lining that we do have, though, is that J.J. Peters, we have ourselves a really good linebacker moving forward, right? So J.J. Peters had 11 total tackles in the game, and then Ty Moody wasn't too far behind with 9 total tackles, but we just didn't get a lot of production from our defensive backfield today. Yes, we were able to generate pressure, which is great to see as always. Cameron Spencer had a sack and a half. Matt Weaver and Johnny Sullivan, the rookie out of Oklahoma, was able to get to the quarterback. Darryl McLeod actually also helped a little bit, which was cool to see. We even got an interception from Denario Allen, but again, even though we forced like a forced fumble as well to go with that, Darryl McLeod, shout out to you. We played awful in the first half. We just simply played awful in that first half of action, and we just can't carry ourselves in that kind of fashion. Really not a formula for success that we desperately needed in a primetime spot. So even though DeAndre Bazier did not get his dev upgrade a couple of weeks ago, however, he's still been putting in that work, and because he's been putting in that work, he gets a bunch of XP and possibly an opportunity down the line. Alright, man, so let's go ahead and focus in what I want to do for the next episode. As next episode, I actually want to sneak in a triple header for you guys. So what I want to do is I want to play the moments of this Pittsburgh Maulers game. I want to see the Philadelphia Stars at home to see if they're starting your guys' like custom player that you have at quarterback, if they're doing that yet. And then we'll also jump into the moments when we take on the Charlotte Knights, which I think that is going to be the very first time that we play the Charlotte Knights in this series, so that will be a fun one to be able to do when that time comes. Hey, appreciate you guys coming out. Listen, we played awful in this first half, but I appreciate the resiliency of our team to at least not embarrass ourselves, but I'm tired of playing these games just to not get embarrassed. I want to come out here and get some wins, or let's continue to just tank so that we can get at least a high draft pick at the end of the year. We gotta, at least like do something here, right? So with that being said, guys, we are gonna go ahead and wrap the video up here, but appreciate you guys watching this battle against the Salt Lake Condors, even though it didn't turn out the way that I personally wanted it to out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, though, and if you did, make sure you go ahead and do a couple of things for me. Hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.